Hey, you turd burglars, and welcome back to another episode of 90 Day The Last Resort. This week is episode 5.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
Zelda. But just as quickly as Zelda zipped off is how quickly my emotions went from one thing to the next. Just the whiplash of emotions I had from giddiness to anger. There's honestly so much to talk about. I want to talk about every inch and corner of this, so let's just get into it. This episode starts off from last week where they're in the middle of their schmex therapy, and Jasmine is talking about having that third person introduced, but not really a third person for both of them, but she wants to go off and get herself a boyfriend. And obviously Gino is not happy with that whatsoever. Rob even puts in his input and says that it's a bit ridiculous that Jasmine is wanting to do something so much that she's willing to jeopardize her relationship, which is funny coming from Rob because didn't he online cheat? So like he went all the way. He full on jeopardized his relationship. Jasmine over here just talking about it. He fully did the thing. So it was pretty hypocritical coming from him. But Jazz goes on to say that she's been thinking about this for weeks, that she wants a side boyfriend because she's having no intimacy within her marriage, and that's not something that she wants to continue on doing. But all in all, the therapist thinks it's not a great idea. She ends up saying that bringing in a third person into the relationship could open new horizons, but when you're trying to do it to bring it into something to basically replace something, she has a schmexless marriage and she's trying to bring something in to replace that, then it's not that good of an idea, especially since you're gonna have to have a lot of tough convos when it comes to jealousy and things like that. And if they're not doing that, then I'm sure them doing it with somebody else might cause some more problems. But all in all, they squashed this conversation because Gino was like, no, I'm not doing that. That's a deal breaker. There's no way I'm gonna let my marriage get to that. Now they all get back to their seats and then the therapist brings out a tray full of stuff, and I was like, are they still going? I was like, Jesus, they're about to have to do something else. But thankfully, no, she sends them off saying that each one of them is going to have homework to do to build a better connection with each other. So Ari and Benny's homework is to go on a romantic date since they have an emotional disconnect. And Rob and Sophie's homework is to have some dom play. They're going to take turns being dominant. And the reason she gives them that homework is because Sophie tends to be in her head a lot instead of in her body. And she wants them to both get out of their head and just use their bodies. Sophie is kind of not really down for it because she's like, I'm not used to being dominant, I'm more submissive. Rob he's down for anything. He's like, as long as you don't kill me, whatever, you can choke me out if you need to. Now she gives Brandon and Julia their homework, and it's to have fun prop play since she notices that they tend to joke about a lot of things, try to find the funnier side of stuff. So she actually gives them something that was on the tray, and it's like a package of like whips and blindfolds and just things to play around with. So she's like, just have fun. Now Stacy and Florian's homework is role play, and she didn't really give them a reason behind this, but I'm pretty sure it's because Florian is so goddamn clueless. He even was like, what's role play? So Stacy had to explain to him what that even was. So I'm pretty sure that's why she gave him that homework, because Florian is just floating around. Like, I don't want to be that weirdo and be like, I'm curious what he's doing in there, but I'm kind of curious what is he doing up in there. Like, he doesn't know what anything is. Then again, it could just be the English barrier because his English still isn't that great. Like, he's got the concept, but a lot of the times you kind of just have to piece together what he's trying to tell you. So he might know what's going on, but like hearing it in English, he's probably like, I don't know what the heck that is. Now Jasmine and Gino's homework, they have to, well, he has to anyway, take Jasmine out and seduce her, and he is so scared. He's like, I don't have to, go all the way, right? Like, he is seriously sitting there quivering, scared that he might even have to like get to second base or whatever with his wife. And she's like, no, you don't have to go all the way, but you need to at least get to, that initial step of like making her feel good, making her feel wanted. And he's like sweating bullets. He is scared.
Gino, I want you to plan a night of seduction for Jasmine.
So you're talking about non-sexual stuff, right, at this moment? Because I'm not ready to jump into that right now.
Divorce.
Now she sends them off and they all get to their homework, and Stacy and Florian in their room. Stacy is putting in all the work. She got her little outfit going. She was looking good. She came in there with all the lines, everything. She had a script, but she was getting into it. But Florian was just standing there cheesing from ear to ear. But like he did nothing but just pick her up and take her to the room. So they definitely had a great time. Now we get to Julia and Brandon's room, and they definitely did their homework having fun, but it was mostly just them having fun instead of getting into that more intimate area. But whatever, as long as they had fun. But she's like riding him like a horse. She pulls out the swatter and was like, my grandpa used to hit flies with this. And he's like, oh, well, I guess you could be my little fly.
A grid that have something similar, but he uses for flies.
Yeah. I'm gonna pretend you're a big fly.
Boy, if you don't get...
And now we get to Sophie in Rob's room, and Sophie has him tied up. She's shoving a sock in his mouth and starts spanking his butt. And it's like, it's jiggly, Rob. So they look like they had fun too. But I don't think Sophie was that into it, because she was kind of just sitting on the bed, just trying to do the activity. But then again, now that I'm like really sitting down and processing it, Sophie has said over and over again that she's shy. And if she's just shy around other people, I can't imagine how she feels in front of a whole bunch of cameras, like just deadpan staring at her with a whole bunch of dudes in the back just looking like. So I bet you that would probably be very nerve-wracking. So now I kind of understand, but I mean, at the same time, you wanted to be on this TV show too. I don't know, but I do understand now why she's like not doing as much stuff. Now we get to the big homework. Gino and Jasmine go out on their seduction night, and Gino sets up a little area with a hot tub, and he takes her there, and he starts off with pretending to be a ghost while he takes off her robe. But they get right into that hot tub and start drinking, and Jasmine is up front. She's like, I want you. You know I want you. You know I like you. Going into it, like she is trying to show some affection, trying to be like cutesy wootsy, and he's literally like, ooh, like scared for her to touch him, literally. So she kind of is like, okay, why don't you give me a massage? Why don't you touch me? So she turns around and he gives her the most half-ass massage I've ever seen. And so Jasmine's taking it for a little bit, but then she turns around and like tries to go in for a kiss, and he literally like scares away.
Why? This is what you do at home all the time, you know.
She brings that up and is like, this is exactly what you do. This is exactly what I bring up. And he's sitting there trying to be like, no, I don't do that, when he literally just did it. But she's like, what do I do after this seduction night and I want you? What am I supposed to do? Like, you are hurting my feelings because you don't want to give me any kind of affection, and when I try to give you affection, you don't want to like take it. And Gino goes on to say, well, I don't touch you and I don't kiss you, Jasmine, because I'm damaged. It's like, she even says it, damaged my ass. I get it, you might be hurt, she might said some hurtful shit, but if it hurts you so much to the point where you guys aren't doing anything, I think it's time to get divorced.
Divorce.
Like, you can't keep taking every single little thing she does and being like, I'm damaged, Gina. Literally everything. She could breathe wrong and he's like, nope, we're not doing it for another week, Jasmine. I'm not doing it. So it's like, now the things that she has been saying is like starting to pop up like more and more. And it's not like I didn't believe her, but it's like, you'd like to see some proof, and the proof is in the pudding, and the pudding is in our eyes right now. He's doing it right here, and it's crazy that he's trying to be like, I'm not doing that, Jasmine. And it's like,
you're a liar, a cheater, a sinner, and a homosexual.
And then she just gets right down to it. She's like, you are a selfish person. If you're not going to do anything with me, then why can't I go out and do it? Like, you are refusing to do it. It's been like almost a year. Like, if you're not going to do it, why can't I do it? And then she goes into the corn addiction, and she can't even get her sentence out. She doesn't even say corn or anything. She's like, you like to and he's like, oh, and she's standing her ground. She's like, yeah, you do. You do it every single day, 7 times a day. going in, and he's like, how dare you, Jasmine? I do not do that. And she's just going off. So he gets up and he's getting out of the tub, and she's like, yeah, you go ahead and you go back to the room and you watch your corn, because this is why you've been mad at me since we've gotten here, because we've been in the same room and you can't watch your corn.
What am I talking about? Your addiction, Gino.
I don't have a addiction.
Oh my, Gino,
BS.
you consume every day, several times a day.
I don't. That's absolutely way untrue. I do not.
I think you're lying.
Talking about mood, because I've been here with you in the same room and you cannot wash your Go to the room, go wash.
But when he's walking away, he does say it's much better than with you. Is he talking about the Masties? That is crazy to say to your... And if it's better that way, then like... Ah, man, this whole marriage is like...
Divorce.
But she said the most realist shit ever when he was walking away. She's like, go ahead, go on. In a digital world, you don't have to worry about seducing a woman. You can just get it right there, and then you just pull up your phone and boom, you got it. So you don't have to worry about doing all these extra steps to get what you want. And it's so crazy because he already has Jasmine, his wife. He ain't gotta put in the whole full team 9 at this point. He could probably breathe on her kukunani and is like, let's get this going, and she would get it going. So it's like, I don't understand. Now the next morning, the girls and the guys decide to have their own days on their own to get away from each other. So all the guys end up meeting up by the pool and they get some drinks, and Gino is just such an awkward person. Like, he doesn't know how to have a full, like, cool conversation with somebody. But I don't know, all of them were saying just weird stuff. Like, is this what guys talk about when it's just guys? Everything that they were saying, other than Florian, I feel like Florian was probably the one person that was just like, I'm a chill guy. But Rob immediately gets into it. He's like, who got it in? Who did it? Who got some last night? And obviously Florian was the only person that was able to seal the deal or whatever. It's so awkward talking about it. And Florian says the most simple but most meaningful thing, and he was like, last night wasn't about creating intimacy and things like that. It was about making a connection. He's the only one that got the homework. That's probably why he got it in last night. And all the guys are like, damn, well, I guess you got an A and we got F's, like literally grading their homework. Now, of course, Gino goes in and explains what happened the night before, but he loved to leave out the part where he was pushing her away. He explains that they got into the pool, he was being all seductive, giving her a massage, and then she turns around and was like, your corn addiction, your corn. Started going off on him, so he just left out a whole good chunk of a part. So of course all the dudes are like, girl, she is tripping. But they get off that subject and go straight into the corn. Like, they forgot about Jasmine, then now they start talking about full on corn. And Gino's surprised that Florian doesn't watch it, and Florian is like, well, I mean, I have a wife, we have a schmeck's life, like I don't need that. And Rob is like, well, I mean, I definitely need it. And Brandon's like, it's a hunger. What? Who calls it a hunger? He's like, you know, when you're hungry, you just gotta eat. Like,
You get hungry, you gotta eat, you know?
You know what I mean? Man,
It's
eventually.
like a hunger, you know? You gotta feed, you gotta eat.
What?
whole part, like, I didn't even want to talk about it because it's making my fucking spine tingle right now, but it's like what the hell. But anyway, and now Florian asks what Gino likes, and I, for the love of me, cannot tell what the hell this dude said. So if you guys can tell me what Gino said right here, I would be so happy. Like, please, because they bleep it out, and I am horrible at reading mouths. So he's like, oh yeah, I love me some of that. Bleep, bleep, bleep. So I don't know what he said.
What you want, Gino?
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
For me, I love the videos, ain't gonna lie.
Huh?
For me, I love the videos, ain't gonna lie. Girl that can get, man,
Explain to me.
that's the best.
Yeah.
I like that.
So yeah, if anybody could tell me what he said in that part, thank you. But the rest of the part where he's like, yeah, I love me that. I love a girl who can just get like, huh? If that whole part felt so forceful. He didn't have to go that hard into that sentence, first of all. And second of all, it feels like he didn't really want to say, I don't know. That part felt so like fake and forced. I don't know. Now Rob goes into asking who's gonna make it to the ceremony. Do you think you're gonna make it to the end, to the commitment ceremony? And everybody is like, I don't know. We do not know. And it's so funny because Florian is taking it so literal. He's like, oh, me, I don't know. I could die in the morning. So it's like, man, we are talking about your marriage. But every single one of them is like, shit, I don't even know at this point. And Rob says he doesn't know either because he's not entirely sure as a husband how much he's supposed to give to his wife, because he feels like they've been dragging out this marriage for so long and he keeps fighting for it. But Sophie's not, and especially since she moved out with her best friend, they haven't done anything in like so long. He's like, man, if this was my girlfriend, I would be gone. We would have been broken up. But the fact that I married her and this is supposed to be a for life thing, that changes everything. So he's just struggling on like, how long does he keep this up before he does give it up? Now it's time for Ari and Binny to go out on their date, and they get themselves a buggy and they're driving out in the desert, just having fun. They genuinely seem to be having a good time. And then Ari just says some weird, it doesn't change the tone for them at all, but it changed the tone for me. That's for sure. I was happy for them until she said this, and I was like, okay, pull the fucking car over. But they're driving around. He's like doing his thing, going all fast and furious mode. And she's like, if we die, we die together. On some crazy bitch.
If we die together.
I would have pulled that car over, like, get the fuck out. You can walk, okay? Go ask the producers for a cab or something. Now, the second half of their date is a picnic, so they end up driving out to a little area in the desert. They get sat down. Ari hands him a glass, and he's like, oh, what kind of drinks we have? And she pulls out a bottle of champagne, and he's all excited. So he starts shaking it, and she's like, oh, no, you don't do that to sparkly drinks. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know, we do this in the club. This is what we do in the club. I'm about to pop me some bottles. So he knows exactly what he's doing. He's shaking it up. And of course it explodes everywhere, and as it's spraying everywhere, I just want to say that yes, Ari was saying everything in a playful way, but everything she was saying was just irking me. And I don't know if it's because she's been irking me since the beginning. Again, she was saying everything in a playful way, but she was like, come on, I told you that was gonna happen. What did I say? You never listen. Why aren't you listening to me? And again, yes, everything was in a very playful way, but it's like, dude, he knew what he was doing. This is what we do in the club, is what he said. So they poured themselves up a cup, and Benny's talking about the therapist, saying how they're gonna be so happy about them not getting into an agreement. And Ari tries to correct him and is like, oh no, it's an argument. That's how you say it. Agreement is to, it's positive, we're agreeing. Argument is negative, like we're going against each other, like explaining it. And he's like, nah, those mean the same thing to me. Nah, they both mean the same thing. And she's like, no, say it with me. Argument. And so he ends up repeating and like changing himself. At this point, they don't need a schmex therapy. They don't need couples therapy. They need co-parenting therapy. Benny is so goddamn checked out. He does not want this relationship. He's just here for his social media. Okay, that's all he is here for. And Ari is fighting for this marriage so hard for I don't know why, because again, she up and left the damn country to get away from him for months. So it's like, at this point, I don't know. I probably would have been like, oh, let them fight a little bit harder if they would have been together for a very long time. But the fact of the matter is like, they met each other and then popped out a baby 3 months later. So it's like, maybe you guys weren't just meant to be together. And I've explained this before, people staying together for their kids, usually that doesn't work out very well. So at the end of the day, I feel like they need co-parenting therapy. I do not think they need to be at this resort. Now they're sitting down and eating, and they're just having small conversation, and Benny brings up all the other people's homework from the night before, and Ari's like, oh, that's sexy homework, trying to be like sexy, but at the same time she's putting a damn hard-boiled egg into her mouth, and I'm like, an egg is probably the least sexy thing that you could enter into your mouth. Again with her, because she was doing it, I think it was the first episode, just macking down in the middle of a conversation. And I understand you gotta eat. I'm not gonna be that person that's like, don't eat in front of me, don't eat on screen. I'm not gonna be that person, but like, she eats with her mouth full. She'll be in the middle of a sentence. Oh yeah, hi, how you doing today? Like literally. So there's like egg on her teeth and on her lips. She's like talking with stuff like, oh, I know those producers gave you a second of time to put some food in your mouth. Like, I don't know. That's another thing feet and mouth noises when people eat. It's like... Now the girls are off having their own day and they decide to go to a hat shop, do some little crafty stuffs, make them a hat. And at first it's just Jasmine, Julia, and Sophie. They end up arriving there first because Stacy is actually off going to get Natalie to bring her on later because Natalie is still wanting to apologize to the girls. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to put up the... But they go in, they get right to it. They start popping bottles. They start crafting their hats. And Jasmine gets into her story with Gino. And she tells all the details very correctly, but the corn part, she takes that out. I don't know, maybe to just like, stop bringing it up. So I don't know. I just felt like, damn, see, that's what Gino needed to do. If he wanted to add the corn thing, I understand. If she wanted to add the corn thing, I understand. But she added in all the details. He did not. So it just made her look like a crazy bitch. But yeah, she tells them everything minus the corn part. Left that part out probably just to, not embarrass him anymore. And the girls are feeling for her. And Sophie's even like, damn, I'm kind of like Gino and you're kind of like Rob. She's saying how like anytime they have like an argument or something, that emotional part like disconnects them and she can't be intimate with Rob. And the same thing is with Jasmine and Gino. So Sophie goes into her homework explaining the night, saying that, yeah, she got to, dominate a little bit. I don't know if he did anything with her. She only explained what we saw, so I'm guessing that's probably all that happened. And then she goes in to tell them that they haven't had schmecks in a year. And this girl, while she's explaining it, is grinning, smiling. If I said that about my marriage, my face would not be grinning, shining, bubbly. Like she was saying it as it was like a trophy, like it was a prize, something that she like, I accomplished this. And I was like, that's kind of weird. And the other girls are like, what the hell? But Jasmine herself is like, I haven't done it in 9 months. But even her, she's like, what the fuck? So Julia, with her weird ass, is like, so, how do you guys take care of yourself? Which is, what the fuck? Girl, you know what? This whole episode made me feel so weird. On top of that, Julia also hasn't been intimate in a long time. So it's like, what are you asking for? You're basically doing the... Were you asking for details? But Jazz gives some details. She's like, yeah, I be doing the DJ. This whole damn episode. Now Natalie and Stacy are on the way. They're pulling up and Sophie's like, I will be cordial with her, but I'm not gonna be friends with her. I probably won't accept her apology. And Jasmine's pretty much on the same level. She's like, I'll be cordial with her and we'll just let the therapist deal with her, but I'm not being friendly with her anymore. And Sophie on the side brings up Natalie's age once again for the 4th episode in a row. And I'm like, the first 10 times was funny. I get it. But like at this point, all you're doing now is bullying her. So it's like, we get it. This bitch is 300 years old. We got it. But every time she talks about her in a talking head or on the side, it's always about her age. And it's like, okay, after the first few times, we get it. Now, Natalie and Stacy end up arriving and they start getting to their crafting as well. And Julia goes to hand Natalie a glass of champagne and Jasmine ass is like, no. Takes the glass away from her. It's like, no glasses. Even tells her to grab the scissors, put the scissors away. And they're making like a whole spectacle of it. And Natalie's sitting there like, I can feel the bitchiness. I can feel the eyes on me. And it's like, of course, I would probably put those things away from you too. You threw a drink on me. Like, you are obviously not prone to not putting your hands on people. So I mean, I would be moving stuff too. And now Natalie gets into her apology and it was so half-assed. She was like, listen guys, I'm sorry for, being a bitch, but I was bullied and women really bullied me and I was terrorized. And she was just going into her past story. She said, I'm sorry for like half a second and then goes into being a victim once again.
My behavior was inappropriate and I apologize for that. When I was at school, I was bullied a lot and I went like through emotional abuse. I feel like insecure and it just projects on other people, unfortunately.
And they all sit there and like, I was bullied too. I was bullied too. Yeah, me too. All in unison. They're like, yeah, we've all been bullied. That doesn't give you any right to do that. And then Sophie starts going into her thing, being like, you know what? I was bullied, and for you to call me a hooker and talk about my body, that really could have put me in a mindset that really could have messed me up. So, I mean, she doesn't say fuck your apology, but pretty much she's just like, you know what? I'm gonna keep you at a space for a while. But on the side, she's like, nah, I ain't gonna fuck with her. She doesn't really accept her apology. Sophie is talking about her touching Rob and how that was disrespectful. And Sophie barely even finished her sentence. She was like, I don't know if you're man. And then Natalie is like, yes, that's my man. My man. And the whole time Sophie is talking to her after Natalie's so-called apologized, she's giving her the most evilest stare, is like staring her the fuck down.
You kept grabbing his arm. You didn't touch any of the other guys. You was clearly trying to make me jealous, and that's my husband. So he was already disrespecting me and didn't allow me the place to come to you. I don't know if your man, you know, came at me inappropriately.
And you have yours.
But then she goes in and lets Natalie read the text between her and Josh just to really show her that there was nothing on her side whatsoever. So she hands Natalie her phone to read the text. And I was like, that woman is brave, because all I could think of is Natalie reading the text on my phone and then just smashing that shit on the ground. But Natalie is going through the text and reading everything, and she is looking stupider and stupider by the second, because she's like, oh god damn it, yeah, there was nothing on Sophie's side. Even before she even read those texts, she was still trying to go in on Sophie there for a second. Yes, that is my man, that is my man. But she's reading the text and is like, oh damn, yeah, he lied to me. Oh shit, what do I do now? But Natalie lets Jasmine also read the text, so she goes through it a little bit. And Natalie again tries to apologize, but it's so half-assed. And again, Sophie's like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll take it, but just don't talk to me. Like, she still doesn't want to be her friend. And Stacy with her cute self just trying to, you know, break the tension is like, all right, so we can, you know, support each other at therapy as women. Yes, girl power. She breaks up that tension and gets them kind of like, oh yeah, girl power, whatever. Now we go back to the guys, and now they're up in the pool playing beer pong. And at first I was like, oh, that seems kind of gross. But then I was like, you know what? I'm being judgy as hell. Let them have fun, you know. And then I saw Brandon pick up his drink and spill half of it out of his mouth into the pool. Then I went straight back to being like, oh yeah, that's gross. But they're out there having fun nonetheless, getting pissed drunk. So they take it over to the bar and they keep drinking some more. And then the girls arrive. And it's so funny because off the bat, Gino isn't like, oh, look at my beautiful wife or anything like that. He's like, wow, I want that hat.
Whoa, give me your hat.
Just like the fucking earring comment, like, who gives a fuck about the hat? Look at your hot ass wife. Like, come on, man. They all come up and they're like, look at who we have with us, Natalie. And Gino, he definitely drank too much. That was so awkward, so uncomfortable what he did. But he literally grabs Natalie and yanks her in. Not like a friendly, like, oh, come here. Like, he, get over here, and starts holding her, hugging her. His face is all up in her boobs and stuff like that. And it's like so uncomfortable. Like, he doesn't even hug his own wife like that. He was straight up laying in Natalie's chest. It was embarrassing. It was weird. Everybody's like, whoa, that hug is a little too much. And they end up separating them. And Natalie obviously gets the hell away from him. And of course, Gino is not only awkward and weird, but he's drunk on top of that. So he doesn't understand what he just did. So of course, Jasmine has to go over to Natalie, make sure she's okay, and apologizes on his behalf. And Jasmine, seeing that her husband is so drunk that he can't even control himself around other people, is like, all right, you're done. You don't need any more drinks. And Florian is like, hey, no, we're just having fun. And Stacy comes in and is like, yep, he's a bad influence. He does this. So Jasmine is now like, Florian, you are a bad influence on my husband. You're not gonna give him any more drinks. And Florian's like, nah, fuck it, whatever. We about to get fucked up. So they just keep trying to drink. And Florian gets another drink, goes to hand it to Gino. And Jasmine Jasmine is literally trying to rip it out of his hand. And Gino's like, you see that? You see how she tries to control me? And Robin's like, you're not gonna do that to my guy. You're not gonna do that to my guy. All the dudes are just causing a ruckus, just drunk as hell. And Jasmine's just trying to be like, you can't give my husband any more drinks. But Florian starts like yelling, starts getting aggressive. And Stacy's like, you need to stop yelling at her. Stop it. And right there and then I could see Stacy already saw what was about to happen. And I guarantee you Florian has probably done this so much. But with this second drink that Gino has, that's the cup that Jasmine grabs and squeezes and it spills everywhere. And this is what starts the chaos. Florian is like, what the hell? So he gets another drink and the bartender sets it down further. So Jasmine goes over there and grabs that drink and spills it out on the ground. And oh my gosh, Florian comes straight up to her and starts getting in her face and is like, you know, you spilled my drink. You don't spill my drink. Just going off on her in her face. He wasn't yelling though, which was the scary part. Like he was deadpan in her face talking like this. You don't spill my, like he would have mollywopped her like that. That was the feeling that I was getting. But Jazz, bad bitch. She was standing her ground. She didn't even step back when Florian came up. She didn't twitch. She didn't move. She didn't do nothing. She didn't do that little weird ass quiver that Gino did in the beginning. She stood her ground. But when Florian's coming up, Stacy, again, like I said, she already saw what was about to happen. So she tries to get in the way and Florian literally yanks her arm and twirls her back. And then Stacy splashes her drink on him and he's still all up in Jasmine's face. And she's just standing there like,
hello, motherfucker.
Y'all were having something. No. What are you doing?
Don't you First time you throw my drink.
Get out of her face.
In Panama, her.
All right,
oh, come on.
Get away.
And that was the end. They just cut it there. That whole thing was just, it was one thing after another thing after, like it just fucking dominoed from the second that they walked in. Like, oh my gosh. So I felt really bad for Jasmine in this moment. And then Florian coming up in her face was not okay. Like obviously he's done this before because Stacy was on her guard and she knew what to do, and she was telling him to lower his voice and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe they're not gonna make it to the commitment ceremony, because if he's acting like that, he's a fucking fool. Like you can guarantee I'm not gonna be with a man that's a-okay to get into a woman's face over a drink because that's her husband. Like, that should have never happened. But with that being the end, not only was this episode chaotic and all over the place, next week's episode looks just as crazy.
Hello?
Oh, hi.
Next time on 90 Days, The Last Resort.
While you were gone, I talked to Sophie.
Good.
And she sent me the messages, and I have them.
So do we think that they're talking about us in the other van?
That, yes.
Go!
Josh, what are they doing?
Oh, they're turning us. That's not fair.
I feel like they cheated. They are playing so dirty right now, and that's it. Do we comprehend the reality of she's in the front seat just waiting, and I'm behind her rowing, but she feels like she's doing everything?
She's lazy, that's it.
So can you stop laughing? Can you have some respect, please?
It's not about you right now.
I'm torturing myself watching these shows. I know that I am, because I was uncomfortable even talking about the segment with all the guys. Like, that shit makes me uncomfortable, but at the same time, I just like talking about it. There's something wrong up there. But with the New Year's here, I am actually recording this on the 1st of January 2025. We are literally in the future. But I want to know, do you guys have any resolutions or anything? I usually don't do a New Year's resolution because, I mean, I'm lazy. I don't know. I just probably won't get to it. But I do have a New Year's resolution this year, and it's to have 1 billion subscribers. So if you guys can help me with that, just hit that like and subscribe, because that 1 billion is far away. So I'm definitely gonna need some help on that. But as always, thank you guys for coming and watching. It's always appreciated. You guys have a beautiful day. Bye.